Hi, this is Edip, 3rd of April 2019. I have a student of mine who is very vocal in the classroom. His name is Nate Woods, correct?
Yes.
And I wanted to interview him on the campus, but today I was very tired. I said I need to go home. And then we end up having a tea and interview. If you see that I have little energy because I slept only 2 hours last night. It is rare, but anyway, we'll have hopefully a good interview. It is he has very interesting experience. I would like to just have some chat on his experience and some personal ideas. Okay, here it is. We have Nate. Nate, first show us what is on the cap.
Iraq, Afghanistan veteran.
Okay. And you have a lot of tattoos. Do you want to introduce us some tattoos?
Sure.
I don't know if it is a question you don't want to answer.
Every tattoo.
Don't answer at all. Oh, this is gardenia, correct? I need to move this away.
I have to take off my wedding band
Yeah.
first. But every tattoo I have on me represents a story or something that I've been through in my life. My knuckles say, America, fuck yeah.
Oh, really? I never noticed that. Oh, gosh.
I have my home state tattooed on the back of my hand.
Hold on. I need to focus on this. This is very interesting. Okay. And then?
Saying that every time I get pulled over, I end up in handcuffs. I have Mama Tried tattooed on my thumb. So
What is Mama?
Mama Tried.
What does it mean? Oh, Mama, I love that. Mama tried.
I have DTA tattooed across my wrist right here. And TCB, don't trust anyone and take care of business. I have my unit flag symbol right here on my forearm.
Okay. Wow. Okay. And then?
I have Snitches Are a Dying Breed tattooed on the back side of my forearm.
Snitches what?
Are a dying breed.
What? You have very strange stuff on your body.
I have a claymore that says front towards enemy.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Okay.
Claymore surrounded by Constantine wire. Says front towards enemy because I'll always face my enemy. Si vis pacem per bellum. If you want peace, prepare for war. Soldier's cross in honor of my dead buddy. Semper Fortis, always courageous.
Where do you have all these tattoos?
I got this sleeve done in the Middle East.
Okay, what about the other one?
This one was done in the Middle East. This was done in San Diego, Arizona, San Diego. This was all
Oh my gosh, you have colorful stuff there too. Hold on. Wow.
This was all done in Jacksonville, Florida. My armpits were done in...
What? Armpits?
Yeah, I got...
Oh my, are you crazy?
I got the Joker in this
Are
armpit.
you crazy? You have even armpits. You have tortured yourself so badly.
I got Deadpool in this armpit.
God, what kind of student I have in my class?
I have the Last Supper, which it represents me and Johnny Oliver's Last Supper that we had together before he was killed.
I have to show the only tattoo I have here. Let me see. This is my only tattoo. Here it is. Do you see it? Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
This is birthmark.
Oh, yeah, birthmark.
I have a birthmark, my natural tattoo here, over my right shoulder. Anyway, okay, let's. You have whole history.
Yes.
Your whole personality is projected on your body.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question for you. First of all, tell me a little bit about the philosophy class you are taking. You are perhaps as a type person, you are expected to be the last person enjoying philosophy, correct?
Yes.
It appears that you had a rough life.
Yes.
And you came to my home with your motorbike. I never rode a motorbike. We have very different personalities in that regard. And also you have been in two wars, correct?
Yes.
Iraq and Afghanistan. In a very short life. What is your life? How old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
32 years old.
Almost 33.
And you are married?
Yes.
And currently he's an incredible person. He paves right now, what is this, driveway?
Yes, my driveway.
He's basically paving his own driveway, cement, mixing cement and stuff, and putting even, what's called? The
rebar.
Rebar, yeah.
I'm doing rebar, stakes, and concrete, and then I'm going to asphalt the top of it. Basically, I'm making I-10 for my driveway.
Very good, yeah. And you are politically, I assume that you voted for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, I hated him. I voted for Bernie, but he was not. He didn't become candidate.
He got his seat, his position stolen from him by Hillary Clinton.
And what do you think about Bernie? How much credit you give him? How much you don't like him, correct?
No, I do not like him.
Okay, I am a Bernie fan. I love him.
I love playing the Bernie game back when it was running. Every time Bernie Sanders would offer something for free while I was at the bar and we were watching it on the news, I'd walk over and take someone else's beer and drink it and say, hey, Bernie Sanders said I could have it for free. So
he's like many of my students, he's brainwashed by the capitalistic system. I would say more accurately brain polluted. He thinks it is fair game that three individuals own more wealth than half of American population, but that's okay. He's a wonderful student of mine. He speaks out in all subjects. And what do you think about the philosophy?
I think philosophy is it's an everyday part of life. It has to do with our laws, it has to do with our political system, it has to do with the choices that we make. A lot of people don't realize that philosophy is part of everything that we do. Whether you realize that you're doing it or not, you're constantly, is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? Should I not? You know, do I need to do this or do I need to do that? It's all part of philosophy.
And tell me what led you to go join the military? How old were you? What prompted you?
I was 18 years old when I first joined, and I'm the sixth generation of my family to do so. That's including my adopted family, my biological family, and my step family. I'm 6 generations deep into it. I will tell you, I do not hope, just like my dad told me, I don't hope that any of my kids join the military. It's too different. But there's the family tradition of it, and watching 9/11 happen. When that happened, I was coming in from doing yard work and saw it on the news while I was getting ready to go to school. That irritated me. The bombing of the World Trade Centers in 1991 and in the USS Cole, it struck deep with me that, you know, this was going to be a long, dragged out, basically another version of Vietnam, but worse. Okay.
And did you join any combat?
Did I join?
Yeah. Did you participate in any combat?
Yes.
Yeah. And so far, I don't see PTSD. I don't know whether you have personally, but in classroom, you are one of the best students in terms of your attitude, behavior, the way you discuss issues. And sometimes I provoke the class, and most likely I provoke some of your ideas and feelings, correct?
Yes, you do.
I am equal opportunity offender.
Yes, you are. And I like it because it matches my personality too. As long as we're trying to, both of us have the same belief, as long as we can get you to think and expand your view.
We don't have bad intention.
No.
That's beautiful. And even we disagree, we will disagree in peace. We don't want to hurt each other. Now, if you, I consider war is the biggest disasters in human history, the biggest tragedies. And I consider war as an evil that we should avoid with all our might if we can.
Yes.
And because, you know, during war, there is no love, maybe between the comrades, yes, but against you consider the enemy, their families and stuff, you lose your empathy towards people, and the same for the other side.
Yes.
And atrocities are committed on both sides, and children are unfortunately, or innocent people become the victim of this, whether directly they hurt or indirectly they lose their parents, their loved ones. It is a major tragedy to join a war, and therefore my question would be, did you have any reflection? For example, I look at terrorism differently than majority of people. I look at it as the crime of the older people, because usually the terrorists we call, or the soldiers or the police who do bad things, or good things, whatever they do according to themselves, and usually they are idealistic. They have certain just a sense of kind of justice they do.
Yes.
And if you ask them, they will have, I don't think all terrorists are psychopaths. They just want to kill people. There are psychopaths, but some terrorists is political ends. There are certain political resentments and stuff. Now, therefore, when I look at terrorism, I call it gang terrorism as byproduct of state terrorism and wars and occupations. What do you think about that? How you define terrorism? This is my phone. Go ahead.
Terrorism is, I think, is a political act, period. It's not anything other. It's a means of terrorizing the populace to ultimately get your views that you want passed to be passed. And if you look at my views, there's all different types of terrorists. I believe that the police force is a terrorist organization. You know, people should have to fear the police, but they do fear the police. It's the presence of them. You know, ambulances don't go out causing accidents to have a reason to go out. Firefighters don't go start fires so they have a fire to start, but the police are out there in America just to go create money. They create havoc, as far as I'm concerned, to get their ultimate means of revenue, tickets, everything. That's a terrorist organization and a scheme right there. They might not be blowing up buildings. They might not be doing anything like that.
Financially, they are hurting people.
But financially, they're hurting people. They're shooting people without just cause. Matter of fact, in Gilbert, Arizona, they just tased a man that was asking what was going on. He was still buckled in, and he was trying to get out of his vehicle, and they tased him like 6 times. That's excessive force. Until that we, you know, that's a terrorist act right there. I believe that there's things that we could do start taking out of their retirement funds, taking out of their pensions, suspending them without pay. They are there to uphold the law and do it justly because we give them the right to do so, but they need to do it fairly and not be a gang about it and a bunch of terrorists. I believe that if they do abuse the law, they should face harsher punishment because they're supposed to enforce the law, which means they should know the law, and if they break the law, they purposely did so. And that goes with everything. That goes with, you know, the Middle East. The Middle East, they wanted Western civilization out of their land. Some people wanted Western civilization in their land. They didn't, so they have terrorism. You know, we're seeing that in Bolivia. We've seen that in Vietnam. We've seen it in the Middle East. Terrorism is an act for a political end or a financial end. There's no other ways of looking at it. Do I believe terrorism is wrong? Yes, I do.
Of course, killing an innocent person without justification, only for self-defense. To me, it's only for self-defense is justified. And of course, I lost my... In fact, let me tell you, when I see someone losing their kids, or their brothers, their fathers, I lost my younger brother, 2 years younger than me. We were very close to each other. He was killed by Turkish fascists in Turkey in 1979. I was about 22 years old. He was 20 years old. He was a very beautiful kid, but unfortunately, 3 people came and shot him blank, basically point. And also I lost my mentor after I rejected the religion of my country, Sunni religion, and wrote articles critical of it. I was rejected. I was declared apostate, a heretic, rejected by my father and all the religious establishment because I was a best-selling author from a very prominent family. And when I came to United States, Dr. Rashad Khalifa, who was the one who mentored me, who sponsored me in fact, who boarded me. I came with nothing basically. He helped me in many ways like a father figure. My father rejected me, and this guy, very close friend. And they killed him here in Tucson, Arizona. They stabbed him to death. A group affiliated to Al-Qaeda. In fact, one of the person who is involved in the plot to kill him, he was Al-Hanjur. He participated in one of the 19 hijackers. No. He was among them, and there were national media, Newsweek, Times, or Arizona Daily Star, wrote extensive articles about the connection between Dr. Rashad Khalifa's murder in January 30, 1990, and the connection. It was considered Al-Qaeda's first violence in the United States. Therefore, I am I receive a lot of threats throughout my life. I survived about 5 very close call assassination attempts, and I receive occasionally death threats from ISIS and others. Therefore, I lost my brother, my mentor, to one is fascism, nationalism, they were terrorists, and my religious terrorism, and also I am subject of threat and things. Therefore, it is personally very, I am involved in this. However, when I look at it, I'm sorry, I talk too much. Go ahead. Yeah, when I look at it, I see it, these terrorist gangs, usually it is the byproduct, sometimes directly created by governments, but sometimes byproduct of the governments. Throughout, we look at it, for example, Al-Qaeda is a product of Saudi Arabia, and plus the invasion of Russia, and then involvement of the United States. All these contributed to radicalization and traumatization of the population. and also the Israelis' discrimination and massacres committed. Also, it creates resentment, fuel a lot of hatred towards the United States and stuff. There are many components. And therefore we see it is there, Afghanistan invaded by Russia, British, Russia and the United States. We see Iraq gave birth to ISIS. It was invaded by the United States, correct? And
I thought it was Syria that gave birth to ISIS.
No, it was Iraq first. And then they moved to Syria, but it was...
Once Robert Gaddafi was executed?
No, it's Saddam Hussein.
No, they moved to Syria after...
No, they moved from Iraq. It was the birth is from Iraq.
No, I'm saying they moved to Syria when Robert Gaddafi was killed.
There are many, it is international. And it was also Iraq was a war based on lies, a pack of lies by the military-industrial complex and their stooges and oil companies. They made up lies about what's called weapons of mass destruction.
Which they did find.
And they didn't find, but they were lying. And Saddam Hussein was their stooge. Before that, they were handshaking with Saddam Hussein, correct? You remember? What's his name? Not Dick Cheney, the other one, Rumsfeld. Yeah, Rumsfeld, the picture shaking hands with Saddam Hussein and giving him weapons, including chemical weapons, which Saddam Hussein used against Kurdish people, killed them, committed basically major massacre in Halabja, 5,000 of them massacred, and also about 1 million people lost their lives. He attacked Iran as a proxy power against Iranian mullahs. And basically he was a dictator supported by US, and later when he was discarded, a lie manufactured, and Iraq, though he was a tyrant, a dictator, but Iraq had no involvement with 9/11, correct?
Iraq,
yes, I'm sorry. Iraq and Iran also, neither of them had involvement. It was 15 of the 19 were from Saudi Arabia, and their ideology was
Pakistan.
Saudi Arabia. 15 of them were from Saudi Arabia, but Saudi Arabia kings have been always supported by the US, by the military-industrial complex and oil companies. The dictators over there, they basically commit all sorts of atrocities. Recently they killed tens of thousands of children in Yemen without any consequences. Now, therefore I'm saying the invasions, and Syria also, Syria war was fueled, internal war, by the United States, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Turkey. United States created a coalition, and they smuggled a lot of weapons inside Syria, and psychopaths from around the world to fuel, to make it the country divided because of the interests of the Israel. Israel wanted a weaker Syria. These are the things. Therefore, the United States foreign policy, my dear friend, is used for profit, for big corporations who are making bloody money from weapons. And if they create conflict, both we taxpayers, our money goes to that, and also they sell weapons around the world if there is more conflict. And also we are also serving, I think, the interests of the Israel. Israel is a small country, but it is very strongly interfering with our politics internally, and therefore this creates a lot of resentment against US. Though I am the most harshest critic of Muslims. If you read my books, Manifesto for Islamic Reform, or my speeches, since 1986, I'm considered a person should be killed. But at the same time, I see that most of them are not terrorists. They don't condone it, support it, great majority of them, but they are demonized, and they are considered as subject to be killed and attacked, their country invaded, correct?
Yeah.
And therefore I think people like you with very good intention, and on the other side also young people with good intention are used as a sacrificial lamb. I think they are sacrificed. When I look at some young person go commit suicide for his cause, I look at it, I said, this was a kid a few years ago, a beautiful kid. And what happened in his life that turned him to a person who sacrifices his life, correct? Mm-hmm. And then go kills other people, innocent people, children, maim them, correct? Why such a monster, and at the same time who is risking his life, is not making money or profit or gaining political power out of that? And therefore, when I look at it, my dear friend, I look at it as what is the cause of that. And I see really behind all of them, the people who are in top, making either profit, bloody money, or gaining certain powers out of this. And therefore, instead of more blaming the young people, including those we call terrorists, or the police, or the soldiers, I cry for all of them, and because they are young people, they are mostly the children of the poor people, and they are used as a pawn in a very evil greed for more money and power by those who are governing the countries, major countries in the world, all countries. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if you ask me, I consider, I'm sorry, I talked too much, I was not supposed to, but I'm coming back to you, finish it. Yeah, I consider the biggest terrorist organizations as states, governments. In fact, in my last year, I spoke at the British Parliament. That was the topic, and I don't think anyone else in that parliament, in London, British Parliament, anyone who so boldly and clearly with facts exposed that the states are the responsible from state terrorisms and wars, and also creating these gang terrorists, and they distract us. They makes us be scared, focus on those little byproduct, but real atrocities is committed by states. In wars, millions of people are killed, maimed. Don't you think it is terrorism, dropping bombs on a city? Don't you think those people are terrorized, are killed, maimed, children, women? States do all the time. Therefore, we become blind to the terrorism committed by state, to the massacres. And go ahead, I want to hear your, your experience there in Afghanistan, in Iraq, as a human being, as a person, what you felt. Most likely you were in a tribal mode. You were on your, correct, survival.
Yes.
You are over there, you are fighting against terrorists. And there is justification for that. I do think that attack to Afghanistan is different than Iraq, because Al-Qaeda was there, they attacked. I see justification to go, but I think that the whole invasion was wrong. I think that it was a special force issue, because there were a few thousand people there, Al-Qaeda. It was a kind of a delicate surgery could be done instead of invading the whole country.
And this is to Afghanistan?
Yeah, in Afghanistan too.
We did initially do a surgical insert with the Green Berets and other special forces units, but with what you're saying to the bombing and everything like that, it's a delicate, sensitive subject.
Yeah.
There's a quote that I don't want to mix it up, but I'll paraphrase it. There's only two people that understand the warrior. That's the warrior and the enemy. Everybody else has a second-hand opinion. When you're over there, and we went over there, and we basically were put into the ring with Mike Tyson. They handcuffed our hands behind our backs and said, all right, win the fight.
Oh.
Because I love the United States. Don't get me wrong, I'm a patriot. Do I believe in everything that the government does and the rules and all that stuff? No, I do not. The rules of engagement and the Geneva Convention, how many of us follow that anymore? France, maybe? Us? And I hate to put us in with France because...
You thought it was like handicapping you.
We were handicapped. Yeah. You can't shoot at a combatant if there's someone in the way. You can't shoot, even if they're getting ready to shoot you, you can't shoot them until they shoot you. They can fire an AK full automatic at your unit while standing behind a woman, and if you have a clear shot, you're still not allowed to take it because there's a civilian in the way. War is gruesome, or it's supposed to be. War is supposed to be evil, nasty, grotesque, brutal, violent, so grotesque and violent that nobody wants to go into it. But when you sit there and give it rules, and you take away the brutality, the grotesqueness, the ugliness of it, you're going to get more wars. Because, oh, well, it's not that bad. Civilians don't get killed. We don't shoot unarmed people and everything like that. The reason why, after World War I, there wasn't a war for quite a few years, and it ended very quickly, was because it was brutal and it was grotesque. Then we had World War II. It was brutal, it was grotesque. It was trench fighting, it was nasty. We did what we had to do to win and end it quickly. Then we had the Korean War. We had them on the run, they ran into China. We asked, can we go and finish it? Can we stop this? We're just now, 50, 60 years later, finally getting a resolution for North Korea. Vietnam, the 10,000 day war. Go there, and what do we got? We started, oh, we can't be grotesque, we can't be violent, we can't make it horrible, the public's watching. You don't win a war by not making it grotesque. You don't stay out of wars if it's not grotesque.
But this is what really I like to hear. There was rule of engagement, but you complain because you lived that. I didn't live it. And but despite that, still a lot of atrocities committed in Vietnam. Napalm bombs, correct?
Napalm.
A lot of hundreds of thousands of people were killed. I don't remember the number. But in Iraq, Doctors Without Borders, I think they put the number of Iraqis lost their lives about 1 million. It's not a little number. It is not kind of really very kind. When awe and shock, I see bombs destroying the buildings and city, all in flames, big fires. Therefore, I don't know how you experienced this one, what kind of things, but I think both in Afghanistan and Iraq there were major atrocities, and the torture in Abu Ghraib and stuff, when it is leaked, we see how people were tortured there. In fact, one of the tortures led to the creation of ISIS. And therefore, I don't know, we have two different positions. But
you also have to look at how they treated their own people. When we go there and we're trying to be nice to them and they don't listen to us, they don't understand it because they're used to being beat like dogs, and and our interpreters and our friends and allies over there are telling us slap them. That's what they understand. You got to slap them. You got to force them to do what you want them to do. That's where that culture clash comes in. And you got to understand the difference in culture, the way that we're having to do it. We're going there for hearts and minds, but yet we're being told to beat them. It's contradictory, and it does no good. And then if you look at you know, they'll go over there and behead people and torture them.
This is tea I make in coffee maker, by the way.
They torture
loose tea.
They torture their civilians over there with drill bits and all different kinds of other things, and you know, beat them to death and stone them. And
unfortunately, that population is a very cruel population, but I do think there are contributions when they were under British occupation and then Russian and United States. So many wars generation raised, and they lost their family members, their children, and therefore in one way I see it when I look at what causes this. And also they have also maybe some culture too, but you can find also goodness there too among those people. There are certain, I don't think everything is bad, but since you are an outsider, you went there in hostile manner, you tend to see all those, you don't care really about what caused their correct, you are in survival mode. And I am trying to empathize with both sides. Yeah, I empathize with you, and if I were in a situation, what I would do, and you want to really survive, you want to find the bad guys. But, and at the same time, yeah, you are also can be ambushed, can be killed anytime, and absolutely difficult situation. And tell me about a little bit cultural stuff that you experienced there, that contrasting. What is let's say Afghani people compared to an American? What is striking differences or similarities?
The way that they eat, their hygiene, the way that they treat their women, the way that their kids are raised, those are all different. Like I can't help but laugh every single time I hear feminists here in America talking about women's rights, and you know, hopefully one day we'll have human rights or actual rights, and then turn around and talk about Sharia law and wanting to bring it here and everything, and women that have been raised up here talking about how we need to have Sharia law that aren't even Muslim, don't understand what it is, and they're talking about women's rights, how that's so great. I'll give you a personal experience. I was not allowed to intervene in this. I wasn't allowed to stop it. I wasn't allowed to do anything. These are some of the rules that we are implemented. And this is also where the culture clash is. A woman gets told by her husband, dinner better be made by the time I get home. Well, she needs to make dinner before the husband gets home. Her son does not want to take her to the store. His brother is out of town doing something. But she needs to have dinner done. She leaves the house without an escort, because over there they get beat and everything if they don't follow instructions. And in their religion, hell has a special place for disobedient wives. So she wants to go to heaven with her husband. She wants to not get beat, not do any of that stuff. She wants to please her husband. She goes to the store, gets raped.
Wow.
So they have to honor kill her and regain her honor, her husband's honor, and it was her fault that she got raped because she didn't go to the store with a male escort. I watched her get stoned.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I watched her get stoned in the streets.
Oh my God! Oh my God! What
but women here have it so fucking bad. Oh here, you get raped, the rapist goes to jail. There, the woman gets killed. Those are things that I've seen. That's a difference.
Yeah, and this may be one of the reasons they are subjected to so many wars. I don't know what causes what, but unfortunately, if a people stone another human being to death, they are not humans, they are subhumans, they are barbarians. And by the way, this has nothing to do with Islam, with Quran. This is made up later, first by Jewish rabbis. It's not even in the Bible. They distorted the meaning. Rajim means excommunication. They turn it to stoning to death, and therefore in the Bible you see a list of minute infractions or sins subjected to stoning to death. If a woman while menstruating, if does this, should be stoned to death. The word excommunicate temporarily for a few days or for longer terms, it was mistranslated, and the same thing will later imported to Islam through hadith and sunnah fabrications falsely attributed to Muhammad centuries after Muhammad. They are called hadith and sunnah and Shiite religions basically mostly based on those, and they also distort many verses of the Quran regarding women or freedom or wars. They distort the meaning in order to make it in harmony with those teachings which I call evil teaching. And therefore this is an incredible, one of the things I am very sensitive when I see they are cruel to women, because I lived in a country where women also subjugated and mistreated. What about stopping now, because I'm very tired it seems, and also I have a call I need to make.
Okay.
But I would like to continue this one because I think that your experience and your perspective is important to be heard. And I am in some, of course, disagreement, but some also I try to look at it from your point of view. And I expect other people also, instead of reacting very emotionally, try to reason. How can we as human beings live in peace and justice? Two things that divide us, one is religion, the other nationalism. These are two viruses that divide us. Religion means creating fake gods besides the creator of the universe, like Muhammad, no Jesus, no this guy, no that guy, this saint, Pope, and those kind of divisions that people throughout history create hostility and wars, and also nationalism. We are all children of Adam. We have so much commonality all around the world. What divides us are national and religious dogmas. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.